Right, hello there, mic check. Testing, testing. Right, everything looks like it's running. YouTube looks fine. Twitch looks fine. Just check all those windows. Yeah, everything's running. It sounds good, mic's good. Right. Hello everybody. I am Red Mechanic. I am back for a bit more streaming. Sorry I wasn't that active that much last week. I've just been very busy in my real life, and I've also been busy sorting out everything for my preview video, which I'm hoping everybody enjoyed. Oh hey, Akane Empire. Oh yeah, who's in the chat? Fonzio. Hello Dread. And Akane Empire, hello. How are you guys doing? Cool. Yeah, I've been a bit busy, so I didn't do much streaming last week, and I've not done a whole lot on content creation because of just stuff being in the way, but yeah, new update is out. I was running a competition on my Discord over the weekend to give away some DLC keys for them, so the winners of that have been chosen, and they have had their keys dished out to them, and I have DM'd them on Discord. So you lucky people, check your Discords and you'll get the notifications on that. What's that, Akane? Congratulations again on the video, it was really epic, can't say that enough. Thank you dude, yeah, cheers man. A lot of people seem to have enjoyed it. I actually got a notification this afternoon that Marek himself shared it on YouTube, which was quite surprising, and quite a nice thing to log in to find. But yeah, I'm glad everyone has been enjoying that video. I thought I'd do something a little bit different to everybody else, because I generally only really like doing the talky videos when there's some new block or feature that directly pertains to my style of building mechs and stuff. Because this one's mostly just cosmetic stuff, I thought I'd just build something cool with the blocks and show off some probably less than conventional ways of using them. RMX Gaming, hey, hello, how are you doing, man? Welcome to the party. But yeah, this is the world I built for my preview video. It is more of a set piece than a functioning base, because I only had like a little over a week to play with the update and build something cool, figure out what I was going to do with it. So I just built a big platform with a giant elevator inside it, and in fact go into spectator mode. You can see all of this that I had to dig out, and a bit of framework. I didn't, annoyingly, I just didn't have time to get around to building actual way into it from the surface. I just had to build a couple of little sections to do some filming in and do some recording. So I was going to do something down here, but there were so many shots I just didn't have time to fit in to the video. So I ended up jibbing that idea off and building a little corridor up here that unfortunately doesn't actually lead anywhere. It just leads to solid rock, but it looked good for the video. Oh hey Marcus, how are you doing, man? Yeah, so I made this big ridiculous thing. Yeah, initially I just made the mech, and then I wasn't sure what else I wanted to do with the video, and then thought, you know what, let's go real big. Because a lot of the new cosmetic blocks are mostly large grid. There are a few small grid bits and pieces, but most of it's all large grid. So I immediately thought, well, I'm building a large grid mech then. I think I've managed to get every new block from the DLC into him somewhere. We've got the new hydro tanks, the new bulky ones back, which look pretty awesome. We've got pretty much every kind of these new square railings. That's the round variant of them. And they've got most angles, kind of like the armor plates. They've got all the different sections and Where are they on my toolbar? Are they still on my toolbar? Yes, they are. Let's spawn my physical self in nearby so I can look at them. Yeah, so we've got, like, a whole range of these square ones now. One I really particularly like is we've got, like, this little gate section here that splits the gap across a set of blocks. And that's what I ended up using as a mounting point for the weird little antenna type things that I built on the side of his head. And then we've got like 2x1 base and tip sections for left and right, and there's also like half one, yeah, the half railings, and there's also like midway ones as well. Where is it? Sure, there's a halfway one. Or was there not? Oh, I'm just imagining that one. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of them now. And then, oh, hello chat. What are you all saying? Blah 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 blah. Oh, you always chat amongst yourselves. Hey guys. Yeah, there's a... where else have we got? Where are those stair blocks? Because the stair blocks, we've got a ridiculous selection of them now. There are so many of them in so many different shapes that I ended up basically doing a sort of replacing by numbers kind of thing with the armor on here. So we've got like a little half triangle section, like the armor block. We've got a variant of that with railings as well. A railingless version, one with railings. There's all sorts of new stairs now. That's the ones we know. Right, here we go. The one thing that it does seem to be missing, I'm kind of gutted about, is there doesn't... with these, they're on the same angle as the 2x1s, but there isn't a base and a tip version. There's only what seems to be the tip version, as that connects at the top and halfway down the block. There doesn't appear to be like a base version of that. I'm hoping they might add that in a future update. I was a little bit gutted to see that, because I was hoping I could do like tall ladder sections, but we've only got pretty much the tip section for the left and right sides, and then there is a central one as well. But again, there's no top or bottom section to it, so you can't make a ladder like that unless you do something like that and flip it upside down, I suppose. But then your ladders would look a little bit weird. But someone put in a ticket for that, hopefully. And yeah, there's railing versions of all of those as well. And then we've got all these lovely new blocks. So yeah, I've been with the armor plating on, or the armor designs on this, all the greebling. I just went around and basically replaced a lot of the blocks that were the same shape as an armor block. So you've got all different variants of these stairs, which I've used around here. And then we've got these skinny variants as well, which I ended up using for the fingers on this guy's hands. So I thought the tread of the stairs looked quite good as like the sort of grip on the inside of the hands. Yeah, there are all sorts of variants of that. Oh yeah, and then there we go, we've got the half triangle. A teeny little one. Good for building little sets of stairs if you've got like a half block floor somewhere. And they're also, yeah, quite good for just bits of large grid greebling. I really like the way they look. I'm going to end up using these stairs on and these railings on all sorts of large grid builds now, in random different combinations. Pretty much all these little bits of detail all over this map, they're all just stairs and railings. They all look really awesome, even when you're not using them as a set of stairs. Yeah, I pretty much just covered him in them. And though, oh yeah, and then also we've got the new cable blocks, as well as the pipes and the conduits and the neon tubes, and all sort of in that little section together now. We've got a whole bunch of these. They're all half blocks except for one. But some of them come in like a 2 long block variant as well, which is quite cool. So again, just any like blocks in this armor that was a half block, I just scooped it out, replaced it with another one of these, and they look awesome, even in all different colours as well, all different skins. Yeah, they look pretty sweet, and they've got some pretty good detailing on the back as well, if you want to end up using them for a floor section. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of these. We've got this little, like, panelled section here. Oh yeah, and they also come in offset variants as well. So you've got ones that are sitting on the bottom of the block, and ones that sit at the top of the block. So depending how you want to place them. Then they have a corner piece, which is quite cool. I do wish there was some other of the more large grid block shapes to go with these. And I do also wish they had small grid variants. Because as always, one of the cool new blocks has just not got the small grid love, which is unfortunate. Because I would cover all of my small grid mechs in these things if there was a small grid version. Might be a ticket that I start, because small grid doesn't get enough love, in my opinion, which is a bit of a shame. What's this? This block gives you June Awakening vibes. Is that the new cable blocks? Yeah, I think they look pretty sweet. So yeah, I've used them like all over the place. Where I'd usually use the armor block in that shape, I've now got this really cool detail block, and the collisions on it are pretty tight from all my testing. So they work really well in like mechanical sections where you need a bit of detail. Yeah. Where have I gone? There I am. I'm over there. Oh yeah. I have a button to bring that lift back in. No, I didn't. That one? It was that one. There we go. Ooh, little load spike. Yeah, so I ended up making this ridiculous giant lift shaft thing, this whole thing. And credit where credit is due, I spent probably 2 straight days just watching Engineered Coffee's Iris Door tutorial on repeat. Trying to figure out how to take that idea and scale it up about 3 times the size. So there is a whole load of pistons in here, all retracting each of the 8 sections of that Iris Door. And there is just enough room for them to have some floodlights on the underneath to light him up without actually hitting anything and clanging when the whole thing retracts. Who is this Engineered Coffee person who sounds boring? To be honest, I'm more of a tea person, everybody knows that. In fact, I've got my cup of tea right here. No. I did ping EC on Discord the other day, jokingly, just like, yeah, if you notice a massive spike in the watch time on that video, that was probably me. Because yeah, I wanted something big and cool to reveal the giant robot. And then I had the next problem, which was figuring out how to lift the damn thing. Because I was initially going to use pistons, but using pistons was very wobbly and an absolute nightmare to get enough of them in a chain comfortably to lift him all the way down here and all the way up there. So I ended up making a big rover lift, essentially. Which brings me to a couple of issues. There's a slight bug with some of the wheels that I noticed. It may be fixed in the live version, but when I was doing my testing, there have been some changes made to the way wheels assign their orientation relative to a control seat or a remote control block. And obviously to set this lift up the way I have done, I have to have these wheels rotating that way and these wheels rotating that way using the propulsion override settings. Now, when I was doing my video, I encountered a bug where as soon as I accessed this grid via a remote control or a cockpit, it would reorient the rotational direction of all the wheels to try and quote-unquote line up with the control seat in a sort of rover configuration. So everything started spinning the same direction, regardless of what was set here and what was set here. So I don't know if that's still a bug. Might be a bit of an issue, but yeah, if you're trying to use control seats or remote controls to make something with a non-standard rover wheel setup on the same grid, you may encounter a few issues. I have bug reported it already. So I'm hoping that's not a thing, but I can't be bothered testing it right now. What's that, Marcus? EC has talent for over-engineering epic solutions relative to straightforward concepts, which leads him to be able to create elegant solutions to perplexing ideas. Yeah. I mean, I probably overcomplicate things. I was overcomplicating this build initially because I was trying to be cheeky and get a torso twist section in as well, but all the different subgrid physics at that scale and that mass was starting to get a bit weird, so I just had to make the torso one fixed section. But yeah, beyond that little bug with the wheels that I discovered, this thing should work pretty well. And yeah, I just had to set up a bunch of automation stuff for it. There's essentially a relay that triggers an event, a relay that triggers a timer, and then that sends a signal to the lift, because that's a completely separate, separately powered grid. It should still have power in it. Yeah, the reactors are still on. But yeah, base sends a signal to that, and then that lifts, and then in fact, that sends a signal to the iris door, and when then that opens enough, then this lifts. It's all a big, complicated thing, but yeah, it took a lot of smegging around to figure out how to build it all, but yeah, so we've got this button here. I'm going to press that button. We'll take us out to here. Hopefully the subgrid jiggle, he hasn't moved too far out of alignment. You know, that probably won't let me through the door at that angle, will it? Of course not. He's jiggled a little bit too far to the side. Remote control. And there we go. I'll just jiggle him over a bit. Damage is off anyway, so it's not going to make a difference. There we go. So yeah, this is the interior of the thing, because I wasn't just going to build the outside of it, so we've got all sorts of stuff in here as well. As you can see, we've got some of the cool new half batteries. Where are they on my toolbar? Yeah, so there we go. We've got these funky new half batteries, and we've got two variants of them again. We've got a regular one, and we've got an offset one. So it's just the same model, just the other side of the block. Which is quite nice to have the variants of them, and the detail on them is lovely. There's a lot going on with them. They look really cool. So I've got a few embedded in the wall there, and I put a few up here, the other way around, so you could see the back end of them as well. Oh, hey Gemini, how you doing, man? And yeah, other than my faction logo mod, this build is completely vanilla, and just pretty much made out of everything that's new. So what else is in here that's new? Oh yeah, so we've also got new triangle catwalk sections that look really cool, and we also have a railing version of them too. So we can build diagonal railings now, diagonal catwalks rather, which will be cool for me because I really like putting things on weird angles and getting shapes into stuff. Only having the square ones has been a little bit boring. But yeah, we've got that in detail now. What's that, Gemini? That mech is wildly awesome. Thank you very much, man. Spent a lot of time messing around trying to get this thing working. Use a large grid upscale of a little prototype I made a while back and didn't really do much with. But yeah, and we've also got the new Prototech O2H2 generators in here as well. They've got the funky new animation to them with the little indicator light on it. So if I drop a bunch of ice into you, that should get picked up by somebody. There you go, it's gotten picked up by that one. So yeah, that indicator turns blue now on the little moving section when it's got ice in it or when it's empty, and it's also the indicator for when it's switched off too. And the animation just comes to a sort of nice little slow stop pretty much. Yep, just comes to a nice slow stop whenever you turn it off. But yeah, they're pretty awesome. I can't remember what the exact stats on them are. I think Andrew Man Gaming did a video on what they are, but they are a fair bit more efficient fuel-wise and output-wise than the standard ones, obviously. Oh, look now, what are we showing off today, Dread? Oh, hey Pandemic, how you doing, man? Today I am just showing off the preview world that I made for my Prosperity video. We are currently inside my Prototech, my Factorum Titan build that I've been working on. Yeah, we're just inside him at the moment. And I'm just showing off a bunch of the new blocks. We've got, yeah, more of the cables, and then we've got all these server racks as well. Have I got them on there? I'm not sure where the server racks are hiding in. Oh, are they in the access panels? That's the one. I couldn't figure out where they were hiding, so I just had them all separately on the toolbar. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we've got these server rack sections as well now, which look pretty sweet. Don't really do anything, but they look very cool detail-wise. And again, I am gutted that there's no small grid version of them. Got small grid access panels. I really wish we had some little server rack sections. Even if they were like a little 3x3 sort of panel about the same size as the small grid refill station, or that small grid access panel. Yeah, if it was something like that size. But yeah, unfortunately they are LG only at the moment, but they are pretty cool. Got like a cable terminal, a little cabinet, and like a wall of computer banks, and the cabinet itself does open. Not much in there, but nice little detail that it's open. It can open and you can look in it. Lebanon, is that an armoured core? The design for it when I was building, the idea in my head was somewhere between Armoured Core, Pacific Rim, and Evangelion, because I wanted to make something kind of top-heavy looking with a kind of spindly body and legs. And yeah, that was kind of the idea I had in my head, was like, yeah, bits of Armoured Core, bits of Evangelion, bits of Jaeger-sized, ridiculous mech build, and then he's got a projector in there to project a little thing when I turn him on. Yeah, what else have we got in here? Oh yeah, and there's the whole balance control system in here to make sure he doesn't tip over and stays upright. That's pretty much it for new blocks that are in here, I think. Got a whole bunch of railings and stuff. There is a lower section to this guy as well that I didn't have enough time in the preview video to show it all off, but oh yeah, we've got this new half corridor section that I believe that's part of the free stuff, so that should be available to everybody and should just be with the other corridor sections. We've got a few bunks and windows and insert beds, and naturally we've got a toilet and a shower in here. A few more beds and things. Survival kits, food processor so people can not die. And then there's a little way down here and another exit out here, and I just didn't get time to really do much with this section. And then there's stuff down here that leads to the rest of the balance control that, again, I just didn't have time to greeble it and make it particularly accessible yet. But I'm going to try and do that and get a bunch of these preview blueprints actually published. Because I have a tendency to go big or go home when I do these preview videos, and I more often than not don't quite get it as fully functional as I like it to be in a blueprintable state or publishable state before the video gets done. Yeah, that is a lot of the new blocks. We've got all the cables and stuff upstairs, and then we've got the new cockpit up here, which is pretty sweet. It's got 3 screens, lots of lovely little details. You kind of wish I had a few more screens around the side, but all the lovely details are pretty good. And the profile on it is really nice. It pokes, it just sits beautifully with the blocks, with just like the little glass dome popping out. I really like this new cockpit, looks really cool. Then it's got loads of like detail around the sides of it, and there's a, I believe there's a doored version. Oop, is there? I believe there's a door version and an open back version as well, isn't there? Not on my toolbar. Yeah, there we go. So that's the open back version I was using for here. And there's the doored version. I mean, the doored version doesn't. The door doesn't open, unfortunately. It's just a version with the door. But I really like having this version with the open back to it. It looks amazing. Yeah, and then we've got small grid versions as well. I can see myself using this small grid version in a lot of new mechs. Depending on whether I want conveyor connections into that cockpit, but yeah, I can see myself using this in small grid mechs quite a lot. might even make a really cool looking head for a robot, just with the shape of it already. A few more extra details that could make a really cool, like, head cockpit type thing. Some kind of mech would be pretty sweet. So yeah, what else have we got here then? So that's all of that. So when I was doing the video, I just had some basic controls set up on the toolbar on this guy to trigger it all. So what was what? So number one, that was the sender signal to retract that back in. And get rid of that piston, which has got one of the cool new little lights. Oh yeah, I forgot to show off those lights as well, didn't I? Because we've got new lighting options in small and large grid, so yeah, that's the large grid version of the new round light. There is a square version of it on here. And it's got some nice little details on it. Looks pretty sweet. And then in here, because I did my little usual large to small subgrid trick, these are the small grid variants of them. So they pretty much take up an entire block. The square ones do anyway. They take up the full, pretty much, face of a square block. And the round ones, they're about the same size as a sensor from the look of it. They fit quite nicely on the top of rotors. They overhang a little bit, but I've not fully tested what the collisions are like for them. Hopefully they're pretty easy going like most of the other lights. Some guy Sai, howdy all. Hey dude, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. What's going on with my Twitch channel? Give me a second. I think the viewer's just frozen. Oh, if it's still streaming, I'll be happy. Yeah, I think Twitch is alright. The view window on that always crashes on me. Nope, there we go, we're back. Oh yeah, fine. That's all good. Yeah, those are some of those new blocks. Some guy, Sai, I'm good thanks, busy building masterpieces, I see. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, I had like a week and a bit or something to have a look at the new blocks, plan something out for a preview video and build and film it all, but yeah, thank you. I didn't quite get to finish all the little details I'd like to have done. I didn't get to build any weapon systems for him, which I'm annoyed about. I wanted to do some, like, shoulder-mounted weapons, but I just did not have the time to fit all that in, so I just left him as he is for now and just filmed what I could to do the video. There was also a few other ideas I wanted to do. Oh yeah, that is one other thing as well with this new update, which I'll talk about in a second. So if I press number 2, we'll be able to detach that one. Lovely. That's our docking port released. Then that lift should now be ready to send up. And yeah, the lift itself has got rows of these lovely new round lights, just blinking in different colours, in different directions. Stream never dropped. Oh no, it was my Twitch stream. The little stream monitor video on it just always just crashes and freezes up, and I can never tell whether it's still streaming or not. YouTube's fine. Yeah, it's just my Twitch manager's crap. What's that, Fonzo? You can see someone doing pixel art with light. Yes, that was something I thought when I seen the square ones. Particularly the small grid ones, because they occupy a full small grid block. So yeah, I could see someone doing, like, massive LCD screen type stuff, potentially. Which would be interesting. Very interesting to see. Oh, hey, Outcast, how are you doing, man? Yeah, one of the other things I was going to mention about this update. It has fixed a long-standing bug with thrusters. So anyone that is familiar with thrust overrides and how they function, you know what? Before I do any of that, I'm going to fly up here. Drop myself up here. So, let's just quickly build something and throw it together just to demonstrate what I mean. So, anyone that is familiar with how thrust overrides have been bugged for God knows how long. Oh, has that not got a connection point in the centre? Oh, that's annoying. I didn't check that. Oh, fine. Yeah, I'll just stick it like that, who cares? Where the thrusters gone? They're not on my toolbar anymore, are they? Menu. Yeah, so anyone's familiar with the bugged behaviour of thruster overrides, will be happy to know that they have been fixed and no longer make your grid drop out of the sky when you apply a thrust override to something on your ship. That there doesn't need to be anything fancy, it just needs to be controllable. Seat, thank you. Put that on there. Right, so what used to happen when you put overrides on anything, it would drop out the sky and plummet. It now works like it should do. So applying an override to a thruster will not make things drop out the sky, and you can manually set the overrides on things while still being able to use your other thruster. Now, that is absolutely awesome for the shipbuilding and all of that kind of jazz. The only issue is that bug was one of my main workarounds for making AI-controlled mechs. Because that bug would counteract the inertial dampeners on a grid, as we know, because that's what the bug was doing. It was counteracting the inertial dampeners and not actually overriding stuff. Annoyingly, that bug is what I used to trick the AI blocks into being able to be used on ground-based stuff with wheels or legs. Unfortunately now, that workaround does not work, and all of my AI mechs are currently broken, and I don't have another workaround to make mechs work properly with AI blocks. So, our prime example, if I grab my Ed 209, which I was going to publish, but now he is broken and doesn't work properly, you can see straight away his legs are twitching. And that twitching is caused by the inertial dampeners. Now, I can turn the inertial dampeners off from the remote control as a player, and it's fine, and everything works the way it should do. I can still control my mechs perfectly well. However, when we now activate the grid AI, basically does nothing now. It doesn't seem to interact properly with my thruster setup, and I can't for the life of me figure out why it's doing that. Because he should be following me around. Oh, hang on. Maybe that one is... Yeah, because you can see that all that twitching. Because I turn the grid AI on, it's turned the inertial dampeners back on. And unfortunately, every time you activate an AI block, it will do that. Guard mode. Guard mode. Follow me. That was the one. Yeah, so. Does kind of still work, but you can see how his legs are misfiring and he's tripping over himself. Because the thrusters are what controls his walk cycle, and every time that thruster dips because of the inertial dampening, it resets the walk cycle, so he starts doing weird little skips and not running through his walk cycle properly because that thruster is firing up and down above the threshold. But if you change the threshold, there's only so far you can go before it just doesn't walk at all, so it's really annoying. What about adding a thruster to a flying ship? Adding the thrusters to flying ships, it's fine. It doesn't really make much of a difference to that. That's all fine. But yeah, it's just because of the way the AI blocks work. As soon as they do anything, they reactivate those inertial dampeners. I can turn them off for a bit, but it will eventually flick itself back on. Yep, there we go. If I go back into its control panel, because the AI blockers lost target on me and then relocked target on me, it has then reset itself and turned the inertial dampeners back on, so it just becomes this vicious cycle of robots doing skippity jumps, which isn't really what I want. And it's the same problem with my wheel-based drones. They have a tendency to just sort of constantly jerk forwards now and just drive every time that inertial dampening fires. So a lot of my pre-existing builds on Steam and Mod.io, if you are going to use them, you now need to turn off the inertial dampeners from the main control seat for them to not jiggle about and do weird stuff. And any AI stuff that I've published is now completely broken, which is annoying. What's that, some guy? Have I tried to replace and reset all the AI blocks on the small grid build? Mate, I have tried every single thing that I could possibly think of in the week and a half I had to play with this update before it went live. And literally the only way to deal with that issue is to change the AI blocks, the AI move blocks specifically, I think, to allow players to turn the inertial dampeners off when the grid AI is active. Because the grid AI automatically reactivates it, so it doesn't have to think about doing the inertial dampeners, because all the inertial dampener calculations are a completely separate process from player control or grid control. So by activating the inertial dampeners, the grid AI by default has something to basically create drag and stop it just infinitely drifting off somewhere. Only annoying thing is, as a player, you might not want inertial dampeners on, but I did flag this up with the developers. Kind of forces me to use scripts now, don't it? No, absolutely not. I'm not moving to scripts. What I've done is when I was doing the preview video, I just contacted the developers and said, your new update's brilliant, but it's broken all of my AI mechs. This is why, this is how. Can we get a workaround? And I did get a response from them. The lead developers are very sorry that bug fixing the game broke one of the things that I do. And they did say to me that they are going to have a look at basically my proposal for just giving us an option to turn inertial dampeners off. as a feature for like the next update or something. Nothing's actually been spoken about properly or set in stone, but I gave them feedback and then they gave me feedback saying, yeah, sorry, we'll sort something out. So hopefully for the 2.11 update, I might be able to get my AI mechs working again. Because one of the plans I had for this video is I wanted to set all these guys up with AI blocks so I could have them toddling around in the background of different shots, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, pros and cons. I mean, I get it. It was a bug fix to a very frustrating and long-standing bug. It just happened to be my main workaround for tricking these damn AI blocks into doing the things I want to. Because I can still trick them into being balance control for my mechs using share inertia tensor and gyro overrides. That still works fine. It's just the AI control of the mech itself. Whilst that was some guy saying, not in my build and I'm gutted. Yeah, I was a bit gutted. Admittedly, I had a little bit of a panic attack when I realised all of my stuff was broken, but yeah, like I said, I contacted Steam, contacted Keen, the same people that contacted me about doing the videos, and just said, yeah, hey, the update's broken some stuff, can we get a fix for it? So hopefully in the future that will get fixed and I can do AI mechs again, because annoyingly I was going to do a tutorial on how to make AI robots. That ain't happening now. Unless you want to revert your game back to a previous iteration of it and not be able to use all the new blocks, which is kind of annoying. It does also mean I have to finish off my Masters of Motion build in the 2.09 version of Space Engineers and record the video for it with that, because I've still not finished that yet. And I've got till the end of August. But I also did mention that to the developers as well, is like, hey, this update comes out before the competition closes and my competition entry very much relies on being able to manipulate the grid AI into making mechs walk, so you've pretty much broken my competition entry. To which they said, we're sorry, didn't realise that would happen. Just submit your entry with the 2.09 version instead. So I can still play in the competition, I just have to revert back to an older build to finish it off, which I might do some streams of over the next few weeks, because that's coming up soon. But anyway, other than that little ramble about stuff, that was that. Number 3 should be the one to send him up. So I'm gonna get up here and I hit number 3. That opens up the iris door. And then when that gets to like almost completely open, there we go, it sends a signal to the lift, which starts the wheels cranking. I did put a bunch of thrusters underneath it to support it just in case, but ended up being able to figure out how to get it working with just the wheels. And so that just grips on and climbs all the way up these beams. And then he lifts all the way out. Then I had to get a little bit clever about making the thing stop properly, because it was a bit tricky to get the timing right using event controllers and timers and relays and things. So I literally just used a couple of barriers as just wheel chocks essentially, and I managed to get them in almost exactly the right spot. Have the two of them level, which I was quite happy with. But yeah, that's him. That's the big reveal of it. Oh, Ahsoka Tano. Hey, Dread. How you doing, man? What's that, Gemini? Hoping for a hotfix. Yes, I am too. Like I said, I did buzz the developers about it and say, hey, could we get an actual workaround for this? Because I've chatted to some of the devs quite a bit, and some of them are like very supportive of mech stuff and doing weird things with the game. So fingers crossed we can get some new settings and new controls for the AI blocks. Literally, all it really needs is on these move blocks is just have like another button or a little toggle to ignore inertial dampeners or turn inertial dampeners on and off or something like that. And that would fix the problem. Yeah, a lot of my previous builds have double thruster setups in each direction, one for controlling and one overridden. Now I can't do that. I have to make sure the inertial dampener is always off. But it basically achieves the same thing. And then I also did a little animation for his arms. So if I hit number 4, there we go, that runs through the little animation I did, where he lifts his hands up and looks at them, they all move around, and then his head turns on. And he's got a projector there to project a lovely sort of glowing visor type thing. That was the wrong button. I like using projectors to make like visors and energy beam type sections to some of my mechs. And quite like that. Yeah, that just turns on and off with his head. Then turning his head on, runs through that little animation, and then gets to there and turns on to a point where you can control it. But I don't think I've actually put any of those controls on here yet. Again, I was a little bit pressed for time making the video because I got a little bit too excited about what I wanted to do. Yeah, he moves. That lift's a little bit bouncy because I forgot to put the brakes on it before I started walking. Yeah, big guy walks. Got a lovely view up here from the cockpit. See his arms move around. He's a little bit bouncy. His suspension blocks are they are just naturally bouncy. Even if you are working with something that is nearly 2 million kilos, there is still a lot of spring in those wheels. Yeah, he walks around. You can even set up a thing on there. Yeah, there we go. Right, I'll set up a little cruise control thing. You can walk around whilst I'm just mooching about inside him. Jump down here and go over to... There you go. You can see the arm swinging back and forth. Nice little view there. That's the bathroom. There's the way down. It's here. Yeah, because of that balance control system inside him, he doesn't need me piloting him or trying to keep him upright. There's a bunch of grid AI blocks inside him, keeping him stable. So at least that stuff still works for the AI blocks. That was my one concern, that something might have changed regarding that. Because you weren't always able... Hang on. There we go. Because you weren't always able to get beacons to register things on the same grid as themselves, even if it was separated by a subgrid, but thankfully they changed that. What message is there? Seems like it may just be an oversight thing that needs a bit of work. I would wait and see what they come up with before changing things on builds. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. I'm thinking, like I said, when I discovered that the bug fix for the thrusters broke all my AI stuff, like I immediately like messaged the people at Keen back and said, please help. The new update's brilliant, but it's broken stuff. And like I said, the response I got back from them was, oh crap, like we're really sorry, we had no idea that you were using that bugged behaviour as an exploit to do things. But yeah, I had like a little bit of a conversation with them and they were very cool about it. So yeah, hopefully with the next update there will be a legitimate way to turn off the inertial dampeners for AI blocks. But yeah, that's just my big issue with the update at the moment. Everything else is really cool. It's just broken all my pet robots, so I can't have anybody following me around at the moment because they just do weird stuff. I mean, I probably could, but I'd have to set the walk controls for the AI drones up in a drastically different way, which wouldn't be as responsive, which would be annoying. There probably is other workarounds, just not as clean as the way I was doing it. What's that, Marcus? That piece is a work of art, Dread. Thank you very much. He was based... Let me get outside. Fall to my doom. He was based on... Where was he? It was just called Prototype. What was it? The little AC6 Mac. Yeah. Not that one. Yeah, so I did have like a sort of... Originally had like a little armoured core based design. But yeah, his thrusters and his controller doing weird stuff now, obviously. There's the stupid change. Inertial dampers off, please. Thank you. You've got a balance control unit, haven't you? You are looking at yourself. There we go. So yeah, I had like a little version of him. Oh, he's got sensors on his feet, hasn't he? Turn them off. Oh yeah, the gravity's heavier on this planet, and I've not got my my mod pack on this world because I wanted to do it all vanilla. But yeah, he's like the prototype version that I was messing around with a while back and never ended up doing anything with because I kind of made the legs a little bit too short. I needed to extend them a bit, but yeah, I used him as the basis for building this one. And pretty much just scaled it up and then made a whole bunch of changes to the armour and made the legs a little bit longer and a little bit more just better setup basically. What's that, some guy? What's that, Marcus? Is that Komarobi? What's Komarobi? I'm not sure what Komarobi is, but it's just some idea I cobbled together, really. What's that, some guy site? Interesting leg joints. Can it jump? It probably could jump. Maybe. And the wheel's bouncing off. Leg hinges. Let's have a look at them. One to that. To that. Yeah, you could make it jump. You could just retract them and then make them extend again a little bit quicker, and yeah, you'd be able to get a little bit of height out of that. Pull it -20, see what happens. It's a little bit bouncy because of them wheels. I'll let them settle. Yep, there you go. You could make them bounce. Yeah, that wouldn't be too hard to program in a jump command. It'd be awkward trying to tie it into the walk animation, but... Oh, planet... Oh, no, it's just the alien world, this one. I just like the look of the alien world. I also like the colour palette when it gets to night time. There it is. Yeah, I really like that purple and green vibe on the alien world. So I tend to do a lot of stuff here, even though it's got higher gravity and generally only got mushrooms to eat. What's that, Fonzio? Manual builds are amazing. Thank you, man. I've been messing around with this stuff for quite a few years now. Learned a lot of stuff from reverse engineering, Black Armor stuff, and also learned a few tricks using the Advanced Walker script for a while when I first moved to PC, and then when the event controllers came out, I realised I could copy a lot of the bits that the Advanced Walker script was doing using just using the event controllers and in-game blocks. That's when I started coming up with these walk control computers in the middle and doing all this kind of nonsense. Which one's which? Yeah, that's the walk light, that's the control lights for the arms and the heads. Yeah, the whole walk cycle is just controlled by these blocks for the left hand side and those blocks for the right hand side, and then that rotor turning in the middle just acts like a clock, and every time it rotates it does another step. In fact, if I go and sit in there, if I stick myself here and look at that, there you go, you'll see those lights turning on and off. When it turns on, it's making a forward step. When it turns off, it's making a backward step. When it goes green, it's walking forwards. When it's cyan, it goes neutral, and then there's that there's that light in the middle on top of the rotor. That counts the walk cycle, and then when it triggers each of the event controllers that triggers a step, I've set that to change colour as well, just because why not? And yeah, it's only got a 2-step cycle, so it just goes 1, 2, 1, 2, basically. Oop. Oop, that's the wrong button, and it's the same if we go in reverse. I'll set it up to change orange instead. And then the walk cycle light does the same pattern, but yeah, you can just about walk backwards. The high gravity on this planet makes it a little bit tricky for him, and because of his mass, he kind of has to like get his momentum going. So he's always a little bit jerky at first when he starts walking. And a little bit bouncy, because again, even 2 million kilos of weight on those suspension blocks is a bit springy. What's that, Ahsoka? I think of the size of gun it would need a super laser. Yeah, well, this is why I'm hoping the next update, the Warfare update, I'm hoping we get some really cool new weapons with that. Because, and it's also why I kind of hope they fix the AI problems I've got at the moment, because I imagine they might ask me to do another preview video for the next update. They always seem to do now. They always seem to ask me and a few other people to do videos every time. So it'd be really nice if I would be able to make a bunch of little like AI combat mechs with whatever new weapons turn up in the new update. That's something I'd really like to do. But yeah, and also like some big weapons as well to go on this guy, because I have got another prototype Factorum Titan, or what's that? They call him Titan? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I've got the Mark 1 Titan that I made a while back and did a few bits with, but didn't do much with. And he's going to do weird stuff and spin around because of his balance controls. You are looking at yourself. Oop. Nope. I've just selected the wrong one. Oh yeah, I've selected the wrong one. You do not want to be looking at him. You want to be looking at yourself, so settle down. You want to be looking at yourself. There we go. Let's straighten you out again. Thank you very much. And he's doing a funny little spin because of his inertial dampeners, which is triggering his turning controls. Got 2 helms on there. Bam. There we go. He's settled down now. Yeah, he was an older Factorum Titan idea I was working on. Again, I think I made his legs a little bit stubby for his torso and his arms. He's an older build. I've shown him off on a couple of streams before. Where am I? I'm there. Ooh. Yeah, so this is one of my older Factorum Titan builds. Whichever update it was where these tanks came out. Yeah, he was a little prototype one that I made a while back. But yeah, I didn't end up doing an awful lot with. He was just a sort of idea I was messing around with, but I did end up building some shoulder-mounted weapons on this guy. Yeah, that's got a button for the AI head control. So there's a AI-controlled head walking around and stuff. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I can set up a control for that arm, because I did get around to putting some artillery cannons in this guy's arm. I wanted to do that kind of stuff with this guy, but I just did not have the time to do it all. But yeah, he's got a artillery cannon. I'm guessing not put any ammo in him for it though. Yeah, he's got like a twin artillery cannon arm. Have I not got the artillery shells in you? There we go, much better. Can I fire that arm now? There we go. Where am I again? Ah, there we are. Yeah, gave him a little arm thing. What else we got there? That's the right arm. Oh yeah, and then I had 2 automated turrets on there that are currently set to friendly fire, so they are trying to aim at stuff. Please don't do that. Oh, what have you just shot? You didn't just try and murder my flatbed, did you? You did. You popped his leg right off. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I forgot I had him set to a friendly fire on a whole bunch of stuff. That was clever. But yeah, I just didn't get the time to set those kinds of things up for the new one. Yeah, this guy's got full interior as well. He did have some AI controls as well that are now broken, annoyingly. Oh yeah, and I did equip it with some bays because I went and nicked some Factorum drones. I can't be asked testing to see if that works, it's probably all bugged right now. And then this guy also has like a bunch of living quarters and things inside him down there. What's that, some guy? Do they make it off balance or can it move and shoot at the same time? Yeah, it can move and shoot at the same time. Help, how do I get out of my own mech? Not that way. That's the way to the bathrooms. And the lockers. It's the other end of the corridor. Ah, there we go, that's the one. Yeah, with this guy, he can definitely walk and shoot. We'll turn that back on as well. No, they don't throw him off balance. Even when they're moving about. Because my big mechs, like this one in particular, where is it on you? Oh yeah, it's down here, isn't it? Dun, dun, dun. Nope, that's the reaction wheel, that's not that one. Ah, there it is. Yeah, all my big mechs, most of my mechs to be honest, if I'm making a biped, I build like a balance control system on it, where it uses a recorder block. In fact, this is an outdated one because I thought thrusters had an effect, but they actually don't. Not on this anyway. But yeah, they generally have a recorder block and a flight block looking at a beacon and looking at a waypoint relative to that beacon. And then with all of these gyroscopes on it, the grid AI takes control of the gyroscopes and it uses share inertia tensor settings on the rotors, and basically that way that little subgrid inside fights to keep the whole grid aligned to gravity with a little waypoint that's on it. And that's how I get all the big things to stand up straight without having to use balancing scripts or any of that nonsense. So obviously, depending on how top heavy they are and mass distribution and stuff, and how quickly I make them turn, they can generally stay upright without falling over. This guy's got less subgrids in his legs, so he is a little bit firmer on his feet than the bigger guy. Also, the bigger guy is 500,000 kilos heavier almost, and a fair bit taller. What's that, Akane? This is very epic. Oh, cheers, man. Does understanding and setting all the settings ever get complicated for you? Yes, it does. It gets complicated for me as well, probably just to a different degree. There's plenty of times that I come across problems where I can't quite figure out how to do it vanilla. Or I can figure out how to do it vanilla, but there's some weird conflict in some of the way different blocks interact with each other. because I'm still trying to figure out a nice way of getting all those mobile base units I've built for my hive base build to stop and start nicely when a drone is coming in. The idea I came up with on stream the other week kind of works, but after a bit more testing, it's also a bit janky and prone to bugging out. So yeah, there are definitely things that I encounter where I go, how the heck am I actually going to do this? But yeah, that's the little guy that I made ages back. I was considering just using him and updating him, but then I thought, no, I want to make something new and bigger and cooler. What's that? Some guy said, do I have rules of thumb when doing mechs? Yeah, there are some definite rules of thumb when building mechs. It kind of depends what kind of mech you're building. Oh yeah, your leg got blown off, didn't it? Let me just quickly replace you. Flatbed. Mark II, there we go. That should be the most up-to-date blueprint for him. Oh yeah. That is also a thing. Because of the changes to the wheels, you might want to check your wheel settings on your subgrid wheel builds, because everything might be weird and backwards now. As you can see, when I hit that forward key, I'm going backwards, and when I hit backwards, I'm driving forwards. Because of the change they've made to the suspension blocks, I think the change they've made, I think what it does is the suspensions try to automatically align what they consider their forward direction for the wheel rotation to whatever control seat or remote control block is on the same grid. Problem is, if you're doing weird stuff with subgrids, you might not want that to happen. So it now seems that all of my left-hand wheels spin the other way now, and all of my right-hand wheels spin the other way now. So yeah, backwards is now backwards, and forwards is now forwards. Yeah, so there's been a few changes to that stuff. And I'm still not convinced that all of my wheels are actually pointing in the correct direction, but yeah, there's been a few changes to that stuff. What's that? Akane, rules are important. For example, your #1 rule for mech building is look at Dread's mechs and give up immediately. I just melt my brain trying to achieve that. It's not that difficult. The walk cycle system is really, really simple. It's literally what I use for building a walk cycle. The control bits, other than designing the leg, the control sequence is literally in order. Why can't I just drop around? Oh, you need to physically attach lights to stuff. Fine, whatever. But the control systems I use are literally just lights being triggered by a timer. And then that timer gets triggered by an event controller, or that timer is triggered by the event controller, and the event controller itself is triggered by a rotor turning. And then that light is, when that light's flicking on and off, it's just got another 2 event controllers to make a leg move forward and backward and make it drop back down. That's it. That is literally all I use to make like one side of a step sequence. So whether it's got 2 legs like him or 6 legs like him, I'm still only using that many blocks to trigger the actual walk cycle. And then, well, to animate it, and then to trigger it myself, I literally just have 2 more event controllers that are themselves triggered by a thruster each. And yeah, that's kind of it. So it's really not a lot of stuff. And like I said, the control systems I build for a multi-pad with 4 legs, 5 legs, 12 legs, 20 legs, it's the same amount of blocks for something with 2. What's that? Big and cooler. How about a space station that turns into a bot? I have messed around with trying to build bigger things like that. The only problem I have doing that stuff is literally sim speed. Once you've got like a 10 million kilogram grid attached to another 10 million kilogram grid, and they're both moving with hinges and rotors and things, the sim speed just starts to plummet. It just gets real slow. This guy is not too bad, but I've got other large grid builds that literally make the sim speed chug, like my Warhammer 40k Warmaster build that is still ongoing after years. That thing is starting to make the sim speed chug. What's that? Giant transformer station bot would be so cool. Yeah, it would be. What's that? Some guy. You can't do bots well properly yet. It just takes practice, man. I've just spent a long time messing around with this stuff to figure this all out. What's that? You're also working on an interplanetary station with supporting ships and stuff that connects up as one ship. That's cool. I like that. I do like it when stuff joins together and breaks apart. What's that, Marcus? You agree, Dreaders go-to reference for complex control stuff. EC is a close second. Cheers, man. Like I said, I don't play enough of the game properly. I am absolutely useless at playing a survival game properly and knowing how to get started and just, like, play the game normally, like everyone else, because I just spend most of my time in a survival world like this, but with the creative tools and stuff on, so I can just mess around and do all this kind of stupid stuff. Here's your walk mode. There we go. But yeah, he's got the same amount of blocks controlling his walk cycle as the big guy up there does. They are just spread out inside. Still using, you can see that little rotor there spinning around. It still uses a rotor to count the steps and tick everything over. Same amount of stuff either way, basically. What's that? Other messages. What's that? So, see stuff like this and think, wow, then look at my build and think, where did I place my crayons? That's how I... Why are you walking sideways, you fool? Why are you walking sideways? What's that about? Pulling in a strange direction. There may be more things broken with the new update than I thought. Why are you walking sideways? Interesting behavior. Wheels are all pointing in the correct direction. I'm gonna have to do some more testing. What else have we got there? Is it going slow due to so many calculations and hinges and pistons? This guy. No, this guy here. I've just set them to a reasonable walk speed. Is the issue you can have with setting up the walk cycles too quick. I can't really change that much more. But you can set the walk cycles to be fast if you like. This one could actually possibly do with being sped up because he's got an extra 3 meters a second out of that there. But what you can end up happening is if the grid is too big or doesn't have enough downforce to grip the floor, the fast moving legs, he will just do the Roadrunner routine from the Warner Brothers cartoons, and he will do his walk cycle, but it will his feet just won't grip, and they will just slide back and forth on the floor pretty much. So what have we got that set to? That's currently set to 10. If I double that, no, I'm going to set it to 29, that'll do. I will have to get into spectator because he's too big to get in the camera frame all at once. Yeah, what can happen is you'd have to adjust your whole animation to match the speed you've sped up to. But if you haven't got enough grip, your feet can end up just sliding back and forth and you don't actually move anywhere because the friction calculations are all separate from the physics and balance and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a balancing act with all the different things, trying to get them to marry up nicely with each other and work well. Drop that to 20. He's not too bad there. That can make him do a little run, but you can see there, because that animation is going quicker, he is picking up speed and he is starting to move very quickly, and then he'll start sort of gliding along the ground and essentially just running. But trying to make a grid this size stop when it's running can be tricky, particularly if you want it to work in a survival world. It can end up just smashing itself to pieces. Because making mechs viable in a regular game is still a bit of a tricky thing in Space Engineers. If I put that back down to 10 again, where it should be. Bit of a nicer walk cycle. You can see, being a bit slower there, he can actually have the time for his feet to grip and for the friction mechanics to kick in, because there's little tick delays between everything. Friction is a particularly annoying one because it's not massively consistent. Sometimes you'll get a really good grip on something, sometimes the wheels will just slide. And even when you set stuff to 100% friction, you still get a lot of sliding. But yeah, you've got to, as you scale up mechs, you've got to kind of take into account mass and center of balance and all that kind of stuff, because he's sort of, the peak of his step, he's getting up to just under like 20 meters a second sometimes, around about 18, 19 for some of them. If you're moving this much mass at 19 meters a second and you stop, he's not too bad, but bigger ones will just do like a horrible lurch forwards as all of this grid up here is trying to slow down, and this grid down here is trying to grip the floor. can get a little bit sketchy. It's like walking on ice. Yeah, it can be. The bigger you go, the harder it is for the friction mechanics to accurately kick in properly. Like I said, with smaller mechs, not that big of a deal. I might jump back into this guy here. Nope. Load spike. Or game crash. What are you doing, game? Looks like my game has crashed. Oh, yep, there we go. Well, that was good. Okay, give me a second. I will reboot Space Engineers. Not sure what happened there. Probably because I've got so many subgrids in that save file at the moment. But yeah, give it a second. It'll reboot again. Oh, here it goes. Right, can you jump back into that world, please? Thank you. What's that? Crashes can and will happen. Yeah, I'm always used to that. It's why I try and be sensible about what I do with subgrids and how many I use on a particular build. Like, you can just go absolutely nuts and add a million things that add all sorts of cool angles and shapes to your armor and stuff, but it will get clangy real quick. Just the physics calculations alone, even if it's not doing anything, it can just sit there twitching and freaking out because the game doesn't know how to handle that many. But yeah, I do try and balance that out a bit. Griffin Helix, nice mech. Is it possible to make one that can transform? You can do all sorts of transforming stuff with mechs. Ooh. What are you doing, mate? I'm in the cockpit. There we go. You can do transforming mechs. It's not... The problem with transforming mechs is block collisions. Like, if you go and check out Apology's videos, he does some amazing transforming mechs and ships and vehicles and stuff. But you've really got to take into account, like, the grid collisions and what scrubs with what and what collisions actually match up to the model that you're looking at, because some things aren't perfect. Optimus Prime. I've not done an Optimus Prime, but I believe Calevra did a Optimus Prime build a while ago. I think he's got some videos on his YouTube channel of them. Because I've seen a few people do Transformers type things. I mostly tend to do Spider-Mechs or biped things, like this guy. Yeah, and then I more often tend to do Spider-Mechs, because multi-pads are my favourite kind of mech at the end of the day. Ooh, I think I need to add some more gyroscopes to you. My steering control still seems to work fine. Slow because the speed limit's low, that's why. Yeah, my preferred kind of mech to build is multi-pads, because I'm a big Ghost in the Shell geek. And I like robots that have multiple legs. And I've got another one over here. That's my forklift mech, or telehandler mech, realistically. I keep calling it a forklift, but it is technically a telehandler. Interesting. The clicking the mouse no longer just releases you, it throws you back. Oh, I don't like that change. Damn it. Well, they've changed that as well, apparently. Used to just climb up there, click, and land nicely on that section there. Oh, now I have to climb down the ladder. Interesting. They've changed that. Didn't notice that. Transformations take a lot of computer blocks for mechs to remember its positions. Yeah, you'd also have to do a vanilla transformer, you'd have to go mad with event controllers. Because I know Apologies uses, I think it's the Mother OS script he uses to program all of the crazy stuff that he builds. There, we've also got my forklift mech. He's got a walk lift. He's got a walk cycle as well. But yeah, he's only got 4 legs. That guy's got 6 legs. That guy over there's got 2 legs, but they all use the exact same set of blocks and a rotor to make the whole thing tick over. So it doesn't matter what size mech you're building, you can still make the walk controls in a nice kind of uniform and consistent manner. Don't want to drive him too fast and roll him over. Yeah, leave him there for a minute. Perhaps a ladder and a piston modification. Maybe. What's that other messages? I've noticed that it's a lot cheaper to walk than to drive. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you want to do, really. The power output's actually different as well, because the walk cycle I use is all powered by a single thruster, so power output there is only 2% of the batteries. Whenever I swap to drive mode, it goes up to about almost 10. Just short of 10. And then if I switch to flight mode, it uses like almost like 70% power and a load of hydrogen when it's flying. Oh crap, yeah, I also need to change. I need to set up controls for this now, because I need to switch between inertial dampener mode and not having inertial dampeners on when I'm flying or walking. Yeah, so I'm going to have to change a whole bunch of stuff the way it gets programmed now. Yeah, because when I turn that off, I'm going to have twitchy ass controls, aren't I? Yep. Twitchy controls. Yep, there we go. Twitching and doing weird things, because we need to now take into consideration that, and I have to actually manually turn that off now, rather than just having a override thruster to just deal with it for me. Bit annoying, but I'm just going to have to adapt to my future blueprints. Interesting. My control for the turning switch does not seem to work. What do I call it? Call it strafe mode. We'll call it crab mode. I called it crab mode. Crab mode light. Crab mode control. Down thruster. Where's that down thruster? What's that one there? Oh, there we go. Working now. Seems to be a little bit bugged for a second for some reason. Yeah, because I set this guy up with two different steering control modes. So he's got crab mode, so he can strafe left and right around things while still driving forwards. And we've also got just regular steering mode, so we can just turn the grid. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. What's that, Gemini? Telehandler mech is awesome, thank you. Some guy, have you ever built a walking mining mech? I have attempted walking mining mechs. I have got a few of them, sort of. Not going to work though, because it's AI controlled. Damn it. I have done a few experimenting with it. I did publish this guy a while back as an automated ice scraping mech. But he's gonna be all twitchy and weird now, aren't you? I need to turn that off. Where am I? Do. Yeah, so I've got this little guy here. He's still perfectly usable manually. His AI is just going to be all buggy and jittery and weird. Well, yeah, he has got. You know what? Turn the drilling off for now because I don't actually want him to tear up the voxels around here. But he does have a drill system set up. That's kicked his AI into gear now. But yeah, when he works properly, he can be set up to basically just scrape ice off the surface of the floor, and he's not too bad at navigating bumpy terrains either. So you can just sort of walk around, scraping ice up and gathering surface stuff, but he's not very good at deep ore mining. Because trying to make walking miners, it's easy enough to get something to dig in the ground. It's trickier to get a walking mech to climb back out the hole again. Pretty much. What's Ahsoka? At this point, need to ask what I haven't built yet. There's a whole list of stuff I haven't built. There's loads of mechs that I'd like to build. There's loads of mechs that I got halfway through building and then forgot about because I'm all ADHD and I get excited about new things and forget about the old things really easily. I've got a whole bunch of builds I need to come back to and circle back to. There's two in particular actually that I really need to come back to. Which is my Mecha King Ghidorah build and my Mecha Godzilla build, or my Kiryu build. It's not going to let me spawn that, is it? Because probably missing a whole bunch of blocks. Yeah, there'll be a whole load of blocks in there that are missing. Probably. And it was script based because this was when I was still using. Let's see what happens if I try and paste it. It might just fall apart. I can't remember whether I was using any modded parts in it or not. It's quite an old build. Oh, yeah, there's some bits falling off it straight away. Can't remember what that stuff is, but that stuff's gone. Oh yeah, there was a whole bunch of... Oh yeah, because I was using the mechanical expansion mod on that. This guy is something I want to rebuild at some stage with all vanilla blocks. I've also got a Mechagodzilla, but he went with the title Kiryu, because that is what he is called in the later films. Again, I think this uses mechanical expansion as well, so it's probably not going to let me spawn. It's probably going to fall apart again. What have we got? Are you going to just collapse under your own weight? Fall apart because of missing pieces? Probably. Yep. Yeah, that's the Walker script doing weird things. So I haven't used it in a long time. And he will have drastically different rotor settings because this build is about... probably about 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, he's another one that I want to upgrade at some stage. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff I haven't got around to building yet, or have half started and not finished, or whatever. Got a bunch of other, like, anime and kaiju movie builds that I've just not got around to finishing. Or keen update something halfway through building it, and then I go, I can't be bothered trying to fix it now. Which is kind of why I haven't really done much content-wise the last week or two, because I knew that change to the AI blocks. I knew that thruster fix was coming and it was going to break my AI stuff, so I've not really done much content-wise, because I knew I was going to have to just redo everything from scratch when the update dropped. Or, not completely from scratch, but I've got to rework a few things until we can hopefully get some other workarounds in the game in a proper capacity. Would be nice. Because there's so much you can do with the grid AI blocks, or there was so much you could do with the grid AI blocks, beyond their intended purpose of just making little flying drones that mooch around. You can do all sorts with them. Like I said, balance control for big mechs. Hopefully when we get a new workaround, you can make ground-based things with them again. But yeah. What's that? You're working on a moon base. Got framework done for drilling rig, but it'll be 3 super laser drills spinning. Oh, cool. Oh, hey, Magosi, over on Twitch. What's that? You have some time for some Twitch and you're playing with robots again? Yeah, man. What time are we on? Yeah, I'll probably be streaming for a little bit longer, but I wasn't going to do a full 4-hour stream tonight. I'm a bit tired and I've been working very hard on doing all this crazy nonsense. Well, let's try and get that guy back over, because we can close the lift back up again. I did actually try to build a system in there where the lift can retract again. I just don't think I automatically tied the doors into it, did I? No, because I've got 2 controls for that at the end. So yeah, this guy has got gyroscopes in him to turn using the mouse. But he has also... where are we? He's also got a reaction wheel set up down here that spins when I press the left and right keys, and that's again controlled by these 2 side thrusters down here and some event controllers. That way you've got 2 kinds of ways you can turn the whole mech. Sometimes it's easier to use the mouse, and if and when I get around to putting some weapons on this guy, you'll still be able to walk forwards and turn, and then have the mouse to actually control the turrets as well. Maybe mech walks into a mining mountain. Yeah, you could do something that could like walk sort of like horizontally, like into the base of a mountain. You just have to make sure there's actually a ore deposit lined up with it. Because I've tried doing stuff that like digs down into the ground on an angle, but that big spherical shape that the drills makes it a bit tricky for the wheels on the mech to catch at that angle. Driving in and out of the hole isn't too bad, but getting a mech to walk in and out of the hole is an absolute nightmare when it's on a steep angle. But maybe one day I'll figure out a good way to do that. What's that, Ahsoka? Must suck to have to sit on your hands to look straight to drop. Yeah, it is a little bit annoying sometimes. It's only really happened to me like once or twice where something has changed that kind of screws me over, and I've kind of got to sit there and just go, bollocks, and then wait for the update to drop and hopeful hot fixes to be figured out. But yeah, like I said, I did bring it up with the devs and say, hey, we were using that bug as a workaround to do AI mech stuff. Can we get a legit workaround instead? And the devs seemed open to the idea. Just got to get a conversation or something about it into their busy schedule. Yeah, what's that, Circa? Dread playing with his action figures? Yeah, kind of. These are my toys that I like to play with. So, let's get... In fact, I'll take you around the back, because that is the front side. Oh yeah, that's why I didn't put the brake system on the platform, because I was trying to use a remote control to trigger the brake system, but every time I accessed the remote control, it bugged out and changed my wheel settings, which made the lift brake, which is why I didn't end up using a remote control for it. Which is a bit annoying. Because I use suspension blocks. I use remote control blocks on the feet of my mechs so that I can operate the brake controls, brake settings on the suspension blocks via the remotes, but at the moment accessing a remote on a block with suspension is auto-aligning the directions of the wheels. It's a bit annoying. What's that, Ahsoka? Thinking your base might be too small. Forgot the size of each drill. Could you get a mech to partially hover with full traction on feet as to kind of bounce, skip along mined terrain? Possibly, but once I start getting into the realms of putting thrusters on the bottom of mechs to kind of counteract issues with the walking, I just make them a flying drone at that stage. Because that's kind of cheating for me. I like to be able to figure out how to do it properly, and I will eventually. I've got flying mining drones. That thing might buckle under my weight a little bit when I step on it. Yep, it'll buckle a little bit. Ooh. 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 It's going down. I thought it'd be able to just take my weight a little bit better, but apparently it's going down. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Oh well. hit number 9, and that can close the iris door back up. Of course, I'm totally out of alignment with the docking stuff, but I never really built this with the intention of docking it back in here properly. It was all just made for the sake of doing a cool preview video. Where are we? Yeah, I can run through that little cycle again for the preview animation. What was it? It was that to lock onto you. That should be correct. So what do we have? We had that, we had that, we had that. So number 3 is what triggers the door opening. And once that opens a certain amount, it should, there we go, kick that lift back into action again. All them wheels driving up, but yeah, every time I put a remote on here and access the remote control, those wheels would start spinning that way instead. And same with all of those ones. Well, I ended up colour coding all of these under here because I was sure there was some weird buggy behaviour going on between the 2 different directions. It turned out I was right. Yeah, there you go, that's him out of there again. Yeah, when you start building at this size, things get a little bit bouncy sometimes, just because it's so much mass bouncing through the air. Because as far as the main torso grid of this mech is concerned, it's just falling and falling and falling. It's mostly the strength and position of the legs that actually holds it upright. But yeah, as far as that grid's concerned, is it hasn't got enough thrust to hold itself up. So it's always kind of in a state of doing physics calculations. Ooh, other messages. Could you get, I've read that one already. So maybe if legs were more pole-like and less foot, could you get pinpoint footing? You can, kind of. The problem is friction, again. Friction and balance, because there's always a slight kind of delay with the mech walking and all of its physics. Like, if I hit the forward button, you'll see the feet kind of, until it gets its momentum going properly. There you go, you see how that foot is kind of not working properly and was taking a lot of weight and twisted all the way forwards. There's always a little bit of delay in the physics calculations, so if you have a completely pinpoint foot, it tends to not be able to grip very well. Because the feet on this guy started off a lot skinnier. And then I had to add this back section here, not for balance, literally just so I could get more suspension blocks in and create more friction and more grip. Because every time he was trying to walk, that whole foot was basically just curling forwards. Because of the way the physics calculations are going up that leg through all those grids. So depending on the size of your mech, you sometimes have to do things differently. So I had to kind of make these feet into snowshoes, essentially. And now they stay kind of flat most of the time, but you'll see occasionally that not all the wheels will catch the floor, and it'll just be like the back set of wheels, and that whole foot will tip backwards as it steps forwards. Like, there's a lot of changes I'd really like to be made to the way friction settings work, because it's not real drag. Yeah, like that foot there, pitching all the way back there, because the back set of wheels were the only ones that actually connected with the voxel. What if I put mag plates on the feet instead? The issue with mag plates and landing gear, unless you get your timing really good, the legs will just rip themselves to pieces if you're not careful, particularly with bigger mechs that have lots and lots and lots of torque behind their rotors and hinges. Like, this guy is literally pushing the limits of the vanilla experimental settings. These rotors are almost cranked all the way up to 1 billion. They are not far from their limit. And if the mag plates misfire and don't disconnect properly, what happens is your foot stays here, your mech goes over here, and the leg ends up getting pulled off somewhere in the middle. It can be done. I've seen a few people do it successfully. You've just got to get your timing for everything absolutely spot on, and even then, the game can have itself little delays with the ticks as it counts, switching states on the landing gear or mag plate. So it can kind of work, it can kind of not. All my experience personally is just torn my legs to pieces. But I might try it again at some stage. What else have we got there? It looks like the angriest tower battle suits for the greater good. I suppose it does look a bit tower, doesn't it? I've not played Warhammer for a very, very long time properly. I was always a Dark Angels guy, but it does have a bit of a towy vibe. Did they fix the issue of retrieving grids from services terminals? I do not know. I'm going to check that later on Aya's server. Presumably the member server will get updated today, I imagine, with the new update. I want to go and check that because, yeah, the services terminal bug. I've never had it on a single player game, but on some servers there has been issues with retrieving grids. I'm hoping they have fixed that. What's that, Ahsoka? Test it on something small. On Aya's member server, I already have at least one grid trapped in the services terminal already. So if and when I get around to testing it, I would like to see if I can just pull that thing back out again, or whether it's doomed and stuck for good. It's already updated. You did it before the live stream was over. Oh, cool, Marcus. Cheers. I'll have a look at that later, because I'm really hoping that bug has been fixed, because it kind of makes the services terminals redundant on a server if anything you put in there has like a 50-50 chance of never being retrieved again. But yeah, what's that, Marcus? Could you use event controllers to unlock? Yeah, you absolutely could. You could set up an event controller to look at a mag plate lock state or idle ready state, and then have that switch to the other ones. There would be ways of doing it. It's just that tick between the actions happening, where things lock and unlock. That's where I've had the problems of basically just having to make the walk cycle really slow, so the legs don't rip themselves off the mech as they're trying to pull backwards and forwards and unlock and lock and all that stuff at the same time. It can just be a wee bit tricky. But like I said, I've seen people do it properly and fairly successfully. I've just never had results that I'm fully happy with. But all that stuff is getting a lot better. I mean, the last time I did it was probably when the event controllers first came out, and they've had a few little refinements and a little optimizations since they got released, so it might be a bit more viable to do it now. So I might try that at some point, but the other issue I have is I like having my spider mechs have wheels on them so they can walk around, and then trying to have a set of legs that have got functional wheels for driving but also functional mag plates for climbing is very tricky one to figure out nicely, and means potentially having extra subgrids on your legs. It's a complicated one. Well, I probably will try it again eventually. Yeah, that is pretty much it for new updates. What's that? That's been like 2 hours, hasn't it? So I'm probably going to wrap this stream up here now, because I am a bit tired and a bit hungry. Yeah, I just wanted to showcase all the new stuff, all the new things that we can build. Everything in this world is completely vanilla. No mods in here, except for one mod I dropped in here so I could have my faction logo on some of the LCD screens. Other than that, everything else in here is 100% vanilla. And a few experimental settings cracked up to their maximum amount. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the new DLC. I hope the people that won one in my won one of the DLC keys in my little competition enjoy it. Yeah, we've got all sorts of new blocks. Oh yeah, there is a small grid variant of that new big tank, in case people are interested or didn't notice, because I didn't notice at first. And I was quite happy to see a small grid version of it, which was cool. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to wrap this up here, and I'm going to go and get some food. And then try and reassess how to do other mech stuff now that the update has changed a few things. I'm going to have to redevelop a few things now. Probably going to have to figure out switching inertial damper settings on lots of stuff now between flight modes and walk modes and things like that. And drive modes, because I suppose I don't really want inertial dampers on when I'm driving. End up firing my brakes or my reverse driving by mistake. But yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting. What's that, so if you need to get the update, yeah, go for it, man. It should only be a few quid or a few dollars, depending where you are. But yeah, I will be back on Wednesday, hopefully for some more shenanigans on Aya's member server. Depending how that's handling the new update, I'm assuming it's fine. But yeah, I should be back on Wednesday for more of that, and on Sunday I might start tinkering around with my Masters of Motion build again and get that finished off before the end of August, when the competition closes. What's that? Oh, Gone Home 52. Later's been playing and watching, just had your audio bug out, so had to reload the world. Yeah, there's bound to be a few little bugs here and there in the update. There always is, but I'm sure there'll be a hot fix for any of those issues in the next couple of days. They're usually pretty quick with the updates. Again, if you find any bugs, bug report it on the support site. It gives them a better idea of what's actually an issue. I know there's a few bugs that I need to bump on the support site myself. But yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday, and I'll be back on Sunday for more, and now that the new update is out, I can figure out what I'm doing with edited video content, like my Mechyard Engineering series, because I did have ideas for that, but the update kind of messed with some of those ideas, so I will let you know. Keep posted on my Discord or my YouTube channel to find out what's going on with the Mechyard Engineering, but that will be back as soon as I kind of reassess what I'm doing. Oh, and yeah, also some guys like, drop a like if you can, it helps with all the algorithm nonsense, and yeah, thanks for watching guys, I will see you all next time, so cheers and goodbye for now.